You are now listening to Regular Guys Podcast.
Ooh, we are back. Episode 12. Man, it feels good to be back. We miss you guys. Regulars, we are regular guys. I am your host, Matty Ice. Uh, Again, keeping this theme going of inviting regulars who listen to the show each and every week, um, guests each and every week. So we went to nonetheless Alexis. Alexis, tell the people what's good. Tell the people where you're from, man.
Awesome. Well, hey everybody. I'm super excited to be here, by the way. Like many of you listening, I am a regular and yeah, I'm so excited to kind of jump on today's episode. I am originally from Orlando, Florida, but I'm currently here in Orem, Utah. So that's where I am joining you all from.
Yeah, man. For you guys that don't know, Alexis is my cousin. So,
Favorite cousin. Let's
yes,
not
I
shy away
can't.
from
Yeah,
that.
favorite cousin. Sorry, Vika, Stucky, Justin, all you guys listening. But hey, it is what it is. We're also joined by the guy himself, Jake. Jake, welcome back, man. Much needed week off. How you feeling, man?
Good, man. I was actually super excited because I waited. I know I could have gotten the extra, scoop, the secret preview of listening to the episode that night before, but I decided to wait
Yeah,
for it and listen to it on Monday. I really liked it. We talked back and forth, but
yeah,
just
man.
watching, I was like, man, I'm supposed to be there. I got to be
Yeah,
talking. So I missed it. I'm glad to be back.
yeah. It was a little different. Not gonna lie, we did miss you. I mean, PJ might say otherwise, but hey,
PJ's here every once a
every
month.
yeah. So. But we do have a great show lined up for you guys this beautiful Monday morning as you join us. If you're looking at us through YouTube, hey, we welcome you. You're listening to us from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, wherever it is. We welcome you on this beautiful Monday morning. Our agenda for today, our theme is Who's Got Next? So we will look into the next up and coming guys who we feel can take the league by storm in the NFL. And as I mentioned last week, we will start breaking down division by division each and every week, um, each and every team leading up into week one of the NFL season. Training camps will be starting here in a couple weeks, and man, we are excited. Football's here. I love me a little contact, PD. I love me a little contact. So we will also continue our theme with the NBA of who's got next and dive into the finals. We have the Bucks and the Suns, and of course, ending it off with our favorite and your favorite, the hype. So, to start off with our theme, who's got next? So, let me just kind of put this into perspective of what we mean when we say who's got next. So, this person can't have a Super Bowl ring. And I kind of just feel like I'll leave it at that. Can't have a Super Bowl ring. So, you can't say Mahomes. Obviously, I mean, he's here now. There is no next for him. He's with that massive deal he signed, he's going to have next now and forever for however long that contract is. So we want to look at the guys who have such great potential and kind of shed some light on them. We have a main guy, each of us, and also to some honorable mentions. So um, I'm gonna start first actually because I feel like my who's got next candidate is someone who you guys may not be thinking. And again, we'll probably do something with our IG story where we kind of try to get you guys' input, see what you guys think. And as always, you guys let us know who you feel have next. My guy, who I feel has next, and this is going to seem a little weird as a Colts fan. I'm going to go with this year's number one pick, Trevor Lawrence, aka Sunshine, aka as Alexis calls him, Jennifer Lawrence. I want the long hair and Duval. Why do I feel Trevor Lawrence has next? in so many ways, besides the championship in college that he won, he gives me a lot of similarities to Andrew Luck. Body form, the 40 time, the arm, processing everything. To me, he just screams Andrew Luck. Probably looks a little bit better than Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had the neck beard going on for him. So other than that, I feel he has next just because of the college he came out of, Clemson. For those of you who follow college football, Alexis might not want to hear this because she's a Hurricanes fan, but hey, you guys got to say what I got to say. I feel like Clemson they're quarterback you at this point. I mean, if you look at who's come out, Deshaun, Trevor
That
now.
Samoan kid now.
Yeah, and then they have DJ there right now.
Yeah.
So they're really just putting themselves as, if you want to play quarterback, go to the league, come to Clemson. But just the resume he put there, he came out of high school, I believe, rated the number 1 player in his class. And for those of you who ask me, okay, I mean, it's Duval, what do they have? I mean, it's Tebow Mania. If you look at the pieces, mainly just offensively, they've shaped themselves up really good to be sneaky good. Now, I'm not saying they make the playoffs. You have DJ Shark, Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones, James Robinson, and Travis Etienne, a college teammate of his at Clemson at running back.
I love that pickup.
Yeah,
That was such a good pickup.
It was
by them.
somewhat of a head scratcher as it happened, because it's like, okay, well, what about James Robinson? But I do get it, and I do love it. It's not that James Robinson is just going to all of a sudden not play anymore. It's going to be a good 1-2 punch, but the offense is they drafted a tackle out of Stanford to help solidify the offensive line. So I just feel like what they're building there under head coach Urban Meyer is going to shape up something great for the future. And I mean, Andrew Luck made the playoffs in year 1. Again, I'm not saying they do, but if they did, in all honesty, I really wouldn't be shocked. Now, we do have to see him play. And again, as a Colts fan, I'm saying that another quarterback in my division has next. What am I thinking? I mean, you could still have next and take 2 L's to the Colts. That's nothing wrong with that. But that's who I have as my who's got next candidate. Again, Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine, Jennifer Lawrence, if you will. 2 honorable mentions that I have is one is at the running back position, Jonathan Taylor. Now, this guy, just a little bit, I don't want to go too much into it. This is someone who didn't really start a lot of majority of the games, and if some, at least 3-4 of the games, even got benched, but yet still managed to be third in the league as far as rushing yards go. I'm not even going to compare it to Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry, Mr. 2000, that's just, he wasn't going to catch that. But the guy he was close to, Dalvin Cook, rushed for 1,557 yards. That's only 300 yards shy away from Jonathan Taylor. And this is a guy who was, again, pulled countless times, at least 3-4 times throughout the season. Colts want to run the ball a lot this year. So I feel like he can be worthy of an honorable mention. And my last guy, now I want to do something here going forward on this show, especially in the NFL. For those of you who watch and listen, obviously, I'm a Colts fan. I'm a big Quentin Nelson fan. I love the trenches. Games are won in the trenches. I want to shed light on offensive linemen because I feel like in today's league of flashiness, speed, and scoring, the offensive line gets overshadowed sometimes. So my third honorable mention is a Super Bowl winner in his year 1, Tristan Wirfs. Now, you're probably like, who the heck is Tristan Wirfs? Tristan Wirfs is the right tackle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Best rookie out of that class.
I'd probably honestly agree that This guy literally, you know how many sacks he let up the whole year? One.
What, like was
One sack. And you're probably like, oh, I mean, who do they play? I mean, it's not like they have to see Cameron Jordan twice a year. It's not like he saw Washington football team's defensive line week 1. Brian Burns, Bradley Chubb, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. It's not like he didn't see any of these guys throughout the year and to only let up one sack. Aaron Donald also on this list. Sign me up, man, for some Tristan Wirfs. So that's who I feel. You guys feel free to let me know what you think. Also, to those listening, you guys let me know. Do you agree? Are you drinking the Duval Kool-Aid? Are you thinking, Matt, what are you talking about? I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence throwing the Tebow mania. So that's who I feel it is. Jake, let me know who your who's got next candidate is.
All right. So for my who's got next, it's actually this quarterback. I was wanting him to start from week 1. You know, I wanted him to start. I kept saying it. He needs the ball. He needs the ball. Thankfully, one of the team doctors made sure that happened. So I have
I know where you're
Mr.
going with this.
Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. He is my quarterback who's got next. He didn't start week 1, even though I was pushing. I kept saying he needs to start. Tyrod Taylor wasn't it. You can tell that offense wasn't working week 1. Even though it was a nice game, it wasn't a blowout. It just, you can tell it looked off. It didn't look right.
Yeah.
Then Herbert comes in, and this man went off. He took they almost beat the Chiefs his first game. That's
Yeah.
how crazy it was.
Yeah.
He went 31 touchdowns and 10 picks for his rookie year, and he threw almost 5,000 yards. He had 4,336 yards in only 15 games because he didn't start that week 1 game. I think he's got next. He showed every reason why. He had one fourth quarter comeback and 3 game-winning drives this season. That's what you want at your quarterback. It's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Here's the ball. Lead me to the end zone. Get us the win. He showed he can do that. The defense, you can't. The reason why the Chargers weren't good was the defense. They were hurt last year.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa kept getting hurt every couple games. Their secondary was hurt. Derwin James didn't play all season. So with a healthy defense, watch out for the Chargers. I love me some Justin Herbert, man. And then my honorable mentions, we love some Justin Jefferson on this podcast.
Yep.
1,400 receiving yards
With
as
Kirk.
a rookie. With Kirk.
With Mr. You like that. That's the crazy part.
That's insane. And he had 125 targets.
Sheesh.
To be fed the
That's
ball
crazy.
that much. When you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Adam Thielen, and you also have Dalvin Cook. It's not like those guys weren't playing. And he still got 125 targets.
Still held his own.
Heck yeah.
And
That's
the one with no real off season.
yeah.
That's the most impressive part. Same with like Herbert too. No real off season, because of COVID, couldn't really get that timing down, so to speak, early
Exactly.
and meet with the guys and to do what these guys is. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and for Herbert, Keenan Allen was playing hurt the majority of the year. Eckler went down and was gone for almost half the season.
Yeah.
So you lost your 2 biggest weapons there. Hunter Henry had a great season, and he got the bag because of it. He was the only option.
Yeah.
So, and for Justin Jefferson, he averaged 15.9 yards per reception. That is insane. Every time he gets the ball, it's first down.
Eagles
and more.
Eagles fans everywhere are kicking themselves because of the simple fact he was there. And they chose Jalen Reagor. Who?
That Snoop Dogg gift. Who? And then my last honorable mention was Antonio Gibson of the
that's a good one.
Washington football team.
Yeah.
He only started 10 games, but you can tell how much that offense changed when he was playing.
Yeah.
He had 795 yards, and out of the only 14 games he played, but the 10 he started, he rushed for 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Not much opportunities, and he took advantage of it. And he also had the receptions for it. 36 receptions and 247 yards. So he he's a dual threat, which is something you really want out of your running back. So I really like him coming up, especially with that offense. So
At least I know who you're
see what
going to be
happens, which is
targeting.
scary because I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, I know who you're going to be
What do you
targeting
mean?
for fantasy. So I appreciate the insight.
Please, you
But
should
yeah,
already know who my keepers are.
oh yeah, I already know. But I'm not gonna lie, I do love those picks. Justin Herbert definitely took the league by storm. I do agree with you. I'm a big fan of. I need to know what I have in my rookie quarterback, unless you're Jordan Love, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, of course you're going to sit. Um, but guys like Burrow, I feel like Tua honestly should have been thrown into the fire from week one,
Yeah.
just to see. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like better learning experiences is given on the job, just being thrown in there.
Right. And I'll probably get into that a little bit more once we go into
Yeah.
our AFC breakdown. But no, I definitely agree. I think Justin was kind of put in that perfect situation to where there wasn't too much riding on the season based off of where they were. So he had a lot of room to grow and make mistakes. And I think that really benefited them for their future.
Yeah.
And he was able to kind of, test his knowledge with the playbook and open things up. So
Yeah,
they're in
he's
a
got
pretty
a
good spot
massive
there
arm,
moving
man.
forward.
That guy Herbert's got a massive arm. I had a guy on my fantasy team, man. I started him the week they played against the Saints. Went into New Orleans and won in overtime, I believe it was. It was crazy. The future is definitely bright in Los Angeles for the Chargers, especially under new head coach. I can't remember his name. I know he was the defense coordinator for the Rams. They outed Anthony Lynn. I think I'm rooting for the Chargers because they do need to really show they can win. Every year it was like they're beating themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot, and they just couldn't. For whatever reason, something just happened. So it's a bright future outlook
Mhm.
there. But going on,
So
yeah, go ahead.
before we move on, for Justin Herbert, his 3 best games where he had his highest passer rating against Tampa Bay, New Orleans Saints, and Kansas City Chiefs, Week 16.
Sheesh.
And he threw only 1 pick out of those 3 games. So
Yeah,
that tells you something. Against great teams, he had his 3 best games,
yeah. I agree with
passer
that
rating
one.
wise, which is what the teams look at. They look at passer rating and turnovers. He had
Yeah.
1 pick, and that was the Tampa game, and his passer rating in that game was 137.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So
Justin Herbert, we know you're listening to the show. Hey, man, come on the show. We feel Jake feels you got next. Like PJ would mention, send us a jersey. I don't really want a jersey. I'm sorry, I wouldn't wear it. But hey, Alexis, show us or let us know who you feel has got next.
For me, my pick for next is Kyler Murray. I don't know what's in the water. Well, actually, there's not much water out there in Arizona,
Yeah.
but things are heating up on the NBA and NFL side out there on the west side. But for me, it's Kyler Murray. I think season after season, he's showing his development, his progression out in the league, and obviously with the addition of Hopkins, I feel like he's really starting to get a lot more comfortable within his role. I feel like he has had a lot of pressure taken off of him. And then, of course, on the defensive side, you have JJ Watt, who was added into the mix to an already pretty good defense. So I think he has all the tools around him to be pretty successful. And so I think moving forward, I definitely think he potential to, show that the NFC side what he has to offer. I do have a few honorable mentions.
Mhm.
I know Justin Jefferson was already mentioned. Huge fan of his. We kind of talked about his 1,400 receiving yards, which is huge for a rookie in the league. And then of course, it kind of pains me to admit this, but I do
Oh
feel
no.
like Josh Allen,
Oh
Josh Allen
no.
as well has Honestly, he surprised me a lot. I've been able to see him obviously play twice a year for the past
Yeah.
few years, and I think the chemistry between him and Stephon Diggs
Out of this world.
is pretty intimidating
Yeah.
against the best defenses in the league. And so, obviously, they made it all the way to the AFC championship and just couldn't put it together. But I think he has a pretty good squad behind him, and they're definitely going to be a threat for the future.
Yeah, it's Kyler Murray is definitely a good pick. Man, that division in itself is
Oh, it's so tough.
it's going
Yeah.
I mean, you guys may be able to say otherwise. Those of you listening may disagree. To me, easily the best division in football from top to
Yeah.
bottom is just stacked. But yeah, that's a good pick. They added AJ Green this year, which I mean,
Yeah.
many may say, "Oh, AJ Green, can he even stay healthy?"
Well,
As you guys
I
say,
think
he's on
I
the
say-
wrong side of 30.
Yeah, definitely on the wrong side of 30. But I think it's a good pickup though for them. He's not going to be the guy. Obviously, D Hop is the guy. You still have Fitz, although we saw an alert from Bleacher that Fitz is kind of unsure of returning, which is kind of shocking. I mean, we got 3 weeks Fitz until you report to camp, so you might want to make the decision
Right.
pretty soon. They let Drake go, which was to some maybe a little head scratcher, but I know they really love Chase Edmonds as their guy. So that's a good pick. And like you mentioned, JJ Watt. I feel like last year Kyler Murray was definitely he escalated his game, and I do feel like he will only continue to get better.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned. So
They
Justin Jefferson,
drafted Rondale Moore too, which is a speedster
another
wide
speed, yeah.
receiver.
And they got Andy Isabella also too, who's
Right.
also another
Yeah.
speed. So
And so with them building off of,
yeah,
the leadership of D Hop and AJ Green, I definitely feel like they're in a good position to kind of
Yeah.
take over
Yeah.
in that division.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You guys let us know. Do you agree with our who's got next? You guys let us know who you feel down in the comments who's got next. Obviously, there's just so much talent, so much young talent that came into the league last year and swept the league by storm. Maybe it's somebody we're not talking about. You let us know, and we will look into your feedback. But going off topic, so like we mentioned beginning of the show, we will be breaking down division by division each week, getting our appetites wet for the up and coming 2021 NFL season. So we are going to be starting with the AFC East. And what better way than to start with the champs themselves, the Buffalo Bills? So we have put together 5 areas in which we will be breaking down each team. We will start with team weakness. We'll move into team strength, player on the hot seat, player we're most excited to see, and then we'll end it off with team record. Now we've each taken a team. We've split the Buffalo Bills together. Um, Alexis will take the Dolphins next since they finished second in the division. I'll take the Pats, and Jake will take the Jets. Jets.
Suck. What? My bad. What? I forgot to mute myself.
As you can see, there's a little trash talk. Hey, but we love it here, guys. That's what we're here for.
Just
Football is a good time for the trash talk. But
Yes,
going
it
with
is.
the Buffalo Bills team weakness, Jake, who do you have as a weakness or position wise for the Buffalo Bills?
So the first thing that, because I was looking, I'm like, a team that made the AFC Championship. What exactly is a weakness? What's something that's possibly holding back this offense?
Yeah.
Because granted, you have Stephon Diggs. Obviously, there's no problem there. Okay. But their tight end, okay, Dawson Knox last season only had 24 receptions and 288 yards. Out of your tight end, with how tight ends are in the league right now, they are an essential piece to an offense. You're hoping to at least get 800 yards reception from your tight end. That's at least. And that's not even being elite. That's just, hey, I need you to pick up the slack a little bit, come off the block, catch the ball, drag a corner on you real quick and just get me a couple yards. They weren't getting that from him. So that's another guy that needs to take the next step to help Josh Allen out, because the AFC is hard to get out of. Because yeah, maybe the division's not, but when you get to the playoffs, who are
Yeah.
you probably going to be facing to stop you from the Super Bowl? The Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes and crew.
You need everything you possibly can to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, and also one other thing I wanted to bring up was their defense. Okay, 2019 it was the third best defense. Then they dropped to 14th last year,
Yeah.
and they didn't really make any additions. They've left the defense the way it is. So you're hoping they get back to that top 3 defense. If not, it's going to be very difficult trying to stop Mahomes, because that's your end goal right now.
Yeah.
How do we beat the Chiefs?
Yeah.
So-
They I would say one weakness that I saw was the running back position.
Yeah, I have him for a guy that he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Devin
I
Singletary.
feel like the best way to beat a Mahomes led team is to stay on the field longer than they can. So the best way to do that is a running game, and I just feel like they need that. Obviously, like we all agree and mention about that, duo connection with Stephon Diggs and Allen. They even added Emmanuel Sanders, who's a sneaky good number 2, especially at his age. But tight end, that's also a good weakness. I didn't think of that one. So
Just the production isn't there.
yeah,
Like 24 receptions for an entire season.
yeah,
Come on.
that is
That-
crazy.
On a pass-heavy offense,
Yeah,
that's all you're
Yeah.
getting. I mean, they signed Matt Breida
Yeah.
for running back, so hopefully that helps. But he's got to stay on the field because he's
Yeah.
very injury prone. So let's see what happens.
Moving on to team strength. So for this one, I didn't want to go with the obvious. I didn't want to go with Josh Allen. I didn't want to go with the receiver room and Stephon Diggs. I went to the secondary. Whenever you can have a good secondary headlined by Tre'Davious White as your number 1 guy, who's going to follow, your number 1 receiver for the most part, but it doesn't just stop there. Look at the safeties. Jordan Poyer playing strong safety, Micah Hyde playing free. It's a pretty good secondary. Like you mentioned, they dropped in production as far as where they ranked. I have a feeling that was more so because of their lack of pass rush.
Yeah, it's
But
that D line. It's
the
not.
D line didn't
Yeah.
really do it for them, but they did add to it by drafting what's the dude? Alexis Houston,
Yeah,
right?
Gregory
Miami.
Russo.
Rousseau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him and kid out of Wake Forest, also Dunlap. So we'll see what happens there with them. But for me, that's the strength of one of the strengths of this team is their secondary. Anytime you can get an elite corner like Tre'Davious White, and it doesn't just stop there, you have also great safety play. I mean, I saw it firsthand as a Colts fan as we had that playoff week 1 exit to them in the playoffs. Moving on then to player on the hot seat. Who we got, Jake?
So I said Devin Singletary because, like you pointed out, the running back situation.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it's going into his 3rd year. He's only 23. He's going to be 24. Still super young. Has the talent. He's not the fastest running back, but he has the power to, okay, he's not fast, but you can break some tackles. You can make your
Yeah.
way. But he started more games this year. He started all 16 games.
Yeah.
He only started 8 his rookie year, and he had about 100 yards less rushing. So you had more opportunities,
This
and
year.
your production was less. Yeah,
Yeah.
this year. He only had 687 yards rushing. I don't understand how that happens. Your yards per attempt went down by almost a whole yard.
Mm-hmm.
Which that you're like, oh, 5 yards, 4 yards, but that's if it's a 3rd and 1 and you can't get that 1 yard,
Yeah.
you're playing the football depending on the situation. So that 1 yard can mean everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the 1 yard line to score and you can't get in the end zone, yeah, I'm probably being a little over dramatic, but that 1 yard really means a lot. So to have your production go down that much by starting another 8 games, that's not
Definitely worrisome.
that's bad.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Again, the running game I feel could definitely escalate the Bills to potentially dethrone the Chiefs. I mean, we'll see. Um, Now moving on, again, Alexis, I know you're a Dolphins fan, so this may pain you a little bit to give us a player you're most excited to watch for the Bills.
Well, I think I also mentioned it with my honorable mention. Josh Allen. He has quite the arm. He has a lot of, I hate to make the comparison as well, but with the height and um, the arm strength, the accuracy, he reminds me a little bit of Peyton Manning. Um, but honestly, he's probably one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the AFC, and I think because of the division and because of the, I guess the Patriots kind of running the show for the past 20 years, the
Yeah,
Bills have kind of been slept on, and so I think he'll get his respect in due time.
yeah. I think we're all pretty happy for Josh Allen to have taken that next step. I know a lot of people was like, Josh, I mean, where did he come out? Was it Wyoming?
Wyoming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wyoming. It's like, where's Wyoming? Who are you playing? So I know he even took backlash from Jalen Ramsey that one year. Um, but as we've seen, he needed that number one guy. Stephon Diggs put himself out there, said, I can be that number one guy, give me the opportunity. And again, to see what they were been able to do in just one year where you didn't really have an off season, maybe didn't have enough time to really get that chemistry down. If this is what they did with that,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what they're going to do with being able to meet, have OTAs, leading up into training camp. So, uh,
Yeah, when you have that deep threat in Emmanuel Sanders,
yeah, it's
you
just
Yeah.
you have to love having a guy like Josh Allen
yeah,
who he's probably up there with Patrick Mahomes when it comes to just launching the ball.
yeah,
That arm
Mhm.
strength is they're probably one A and one B.
yeah.
So as a deep threat, you gotta love that.
So now moving into team record, my prediction for where I have the Buffalo Bills, I do think they repeat as division favorites. Um, I have the record at 13-4. Again, an extra game added to the season. Just to mention some key wins for them. Um, I have them beating New Orleans. I have them beating the Pats twice. I think they beat them twice, even with the additions that they bring back and what they've added on offense. Some key losses. I'm just going to mention too. I still think they lose to the Chiefs. I do think it's closer. And the only reason why I say they lose to the Chiefs is because of the running game. If for some odd reason Devin Singletary shows us he's the next Frank Gore or whatever it is, then I would like their chances a lot more. And one loss that I'm gonna give is, again, it's not because Alexis is here; she's my cousin. I think they take an L to Miami. In Miami,
They
um,
usually break even.
yeah, they
So
usually break even. It's just, I mean, I'll get into it with the Pats. It's like the Pats. I mean, Dolphins will lose in Foxborough, but they'll win in Miami. So that's what we have for our breakdown of the Bills. Moving on to the second place winner, if you will, the Miami Dolphins. Alexis is here to break down the team as a fan. So, Alexis, give us a team weakness for the
I'm gonna show
Fins.
off my shirt real quick.
Okay, yeah, you see the merch from the Fins. We like that.
Had to.
Who do you
Okay.
have as a team weakness?
I mean, it's been their kryptonite for the past decade or so. Definitely the offensive line,
Hmm.
constant rotation of bodies. But I kind of line that up with the run game a little bit. We haven't really established a go-to running back
Yeah.
since Ronnie Brown, and so we've
Oh, wow.
had, especially in the 2020 season, we've had about four different starters. between 4 and 6 in our rotation each week. We kind of stumbled across a few diamonds in the rough with Miles Gaskin. And yeah, I think that's just establishing a good offensive line to create a good running game for us. And I think that has just been our weakness for many, many years. But once again, in 2020, a big factor.
Yeah. I agree with you with kind of like the finding the diamonds in the rough. Gaskin actually really surprised me. I think he can be a nice committee. I don't know if he can be the top guy. I think him paired with somebody, and I would have loved to potentially have seen them get Najee Harris in the draft, or Travis Etienne in the draft. Now we don't want to
things
keep
that make sense.
Yeah, things that make sense. I mean, hey, you got Jalen Phillips. Miami's very young. It's a much needed boost right there. But we don't want to keep it all back. Give us a team strength going into the 2021 season.
Well, there's so much to choose from. But I'm gonna go towards our defense. We of course have a Pro Bowler, Xavier Howard, who has led the league in interceptions. I saw a stat that within the past 4 years, he's led the league in interceptions with, I believe, 22. And he's just he's been our one superstar back there in our secondary, and hopefully he gets things figured out with his contracts that we'll be able to keep him. But I definitely feel like we have a strong presence up front on the line with Christian Wilkins. Raekwon Davis has been a great addition, of course. In the middle, we did lose Kyle Van Noy, who I felt was a good presence amongst the young core. You have Jerome Baker, who is a stud in the middle there. So, I think we did nothing but add more depth to our defense, especially in this draft. Of course, we talked about Jalen Phillips being drafted first overall for us. So, that's just been our big team strength throughout the past few seasons, but especially moving forward, I think defense is going to win championships for us. Yeah. Manifesting that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully your boy Xavier Howard could get that extra $1 or $2 mil that he's asking for. But now give us a player that you feel is on the hot seat going into the season.
I mean, it's got to be Tua. We did our whole Tank for Tua campaign. Yeah. And he definitely has a lot to prove. I think he wasn't really put in the best situation that gave him consistency last year. But when you're coming out of a draft with Justin Herbert and Burrow as well, and those two have definitely shown their potential and have provided a lot of upside for their teams. I think it's time to really come out and, take over and show everyone why you were, arguably one of the best college football quarterback. And so for me, it's definitely got to be Tua. He didn't make a lot of people happy with his 4 interceptions and OTAs, but for me, I see that as progress because he's always been very conservative. He holds the ball a lot. He doesn't like to make mistakes. He's very thorough about that. Yeah. Exactly. And so for him to kind of just let it fly. And I think I'm completely fine with that. So.
Yeah, I agree. For those of you listening, we had Mike on a couple of weeks ago. He's also a Dolphins fan. The only thing I said is when week 6 Colts come to Miami, I hope those 4 interceptions come true. But going into a player you're most excited for heading into the season.
Well, as bummed as I was that we didn't pick up a running back in the first round, I was very excited to see that we did pick up Jalen Phillips. Me being a Miami Hurricane fan as well, I was able to, really see him grow in the 2 seasons that he played with the Miami Hurricanes. And so for me, I think the comparison that I would make is a young Jason Taylor. He has that size. He's 6'5", 266. In the defensive scheme that they're doing, the 3-4, he would be able to play that edge rusher, weak side linebacker combination. And so there's a lot of different things that you can do with his speed. He gets off the line quick. He has a lot of power, really good instincts for the game. And so I think that overall watching the Miami defense this year is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Jalen Phillips going into the draft. He was one guy who, it was him and Kwity Paye. Obviously, the Colts ended up drafting Kwity Paye. Those two, I wanted one. I feel like the Colts needed a edge rusher. Jalen Phillips, to me, honestly, might be the best pure pass rusher in this draft. He's just he has a good display of tools already. Obviously, I mean, you have some concerns. The guy did retire from football from UCLA at one point.
Yeah.
So, but I am glad that he gets to stay in the city of Miami, a place where he was able to, I guess, kind of resurrect his career again after transferring. So,
and it's an easy transition for him as far as, obviously he's played in that stadium in college throughout his season. And obviously it's not easy for a lot of players to go out to Miami and that humidity and just that climate and really thrive. But for him, I think it's just the best situation for him and for the team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And to end us off with the Miami Dolphins breakdown, give us a team record for this year.
So I definitely think it'll be double digits. Looking at their schedule, I think it's a lot easier than what we've had in the past. So I'm definitely happy to see that. So I am giving them a record of 11-6.
11-6. There you have it, Dolphins fans.
Spicy. I like that.
Yeah, man. I do feel like it's very doable. If you just
we were 10-6 last year, so I mean, feel like
one more
right.
So
with a lot more tools. So
yeah, I would definitely agree with a lot of the assessment you just broke down for us. Moving on to the New England Patriots. Now, I have the privilege of breaking this team down. Starting with team weakness, I'm going to go running back. Sony Michel, I don't even think James White is there. He could be. I'd have to look into that. But to me, I feel like it's a weakness. It's not maybe what it used to be. Not that, you think of Patriot running backs or backfields and they're just elite. But they've always been pretty serviceable. I know they have Rex Burkhead who will, give you good, 2 good weeks and then he'll disappear. So you would like somebody to kind of set the tone and be that leader. So to take on the carries, you don't need it to be Cam. At this day and age, Cam's on the wrong side of 30. You don't need him to be your top leading running back at the quarterback position. So that's who I have as a team weakness. I could have stayed on the offensive side of the ball and still said receiver. Although they added AJ Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, I feel like they still could have done more, but I feel like running back is still much more of a question mark. Team strength, I'm going to go in the secondary, headlined by Gilmore. You have J.C. Jackson on the other side, the McCourty twins. This secondary is, don't get me wrong, it's still good. Yeah, we know Gilmore hit the injury bug last year and kind of had some rough patches facing the young talent of the league. This team is still very good in the secondary. Obviously, they missed a lot of pieces up front. Hightower sat out for the year. They get Kyle Van Noy back, which again is still a head scratcher why the Dolphins let him go.
We did an offset because we took Jason McCourty
I
from
got
them
you.
and gave them Kava and Noi back. So that
Okay,
was our
okay.
trade back.
So to have that, in all honesty, I could have said team strength could have also been the front seven. I mean, you get Matthew Judon as well um, from the Ravens. So that's who I have as a team strength. Now, a player on the hot seat. To me, this is just as easy as you going with Tua. I'm going with Cam. This is it. I feel like this is your year to show us Superman is still alive. Obviously, me and Alexis listened to I Am Athlete podcast when he was there with those guys,
Yeah.
and I want to see Cam succeed. I want Cam to show the league, hey, don't let last year fool you. To me, and if you've listened to that podcast, he took arguably the hardest job in the NFL to replace 20 years of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No weapons. Cam was never that type of quarterback to make receivers great. He obviously he needs something. So we saw that Bill went on and spent that cash this year. But to me, he's definitely on the hot seat. Especially Mac Jones breathing down your neck. They drafted him in the first round. You got to think, but I am rooting for him because of the simple fact he gets a lot of stuff this year that he didn't last year. OTAs, he can put together the work with the team, really study the playbook. Patriot Way is very difficult. Again, listening to that podcast, he mentioned to that of when he got COVID, because he was one of the first ones to get COVID. He came back. The team still kept going along. There was no, okay, we'll go back and let you catch up. So
Right.
he's also ironically the player I'm most excited for. I'm rooting for Cam. Cam, you're watching this show, because we know you are. I'm rooting for you, man. I want Superman back. I want to see you dabbing in the end zone, opening up the chest. Let me see the Superman logo. I want you to show the world you're back. Show the world Superman is back. This man is physically gifted, a defensive end, if you will, playing quarterback. It's just crazy. Um,
He's what everybody thought Tim Tebow was going to be.
yes. Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, she went there.
Cam went to Florida. I'm a Gators fan. Cam was there, but because my guys was stealing computers, he got booted. But that's a different story. To end team record.
It was better than stealing crab legs. So
That is true. That is a lot
Yeah.
true. This one is difficult. I flipped so much between 11-6 and 10-7. And I ended up going with 10-7 because of the simple fact, yes, I love the additions on offense. Smith and Hunter Henry solidify your tight end room. You added some good depth pieces at receiver, but I need to see it all intact. Your offensive line, although you lost Joe Thuney, you still got Brown. I want to say Trent Brown from the Raiders. So, and you have Isaiah Wynn on the other side. Two key wins for the Pats that I had was week 3 against the Saints, and I gave them a win against the Titans. Two losses that I feel they have coming this year. This one is easy. I feel they lose to the Bucks, and I gave them an L against the Dallas Cowboys. So that's what I have. Pats fans, don't stalk me and tell me I'm wrong. We're just breaking the team down. But we save the trash. I mean, the best for
Wow.
last.
Oh, I thought we were done with this segment. Oh,
Wow.
We saved the best for last. Jake, give us your assessment of the Jets, Jets, starting with their team weakness.
So team weakness, I'm gonna go with the head coach was Adam Gase. Now they got rid of him. They got rid of the biggest weakness, the one holding the team back. They cleaned house. So what I would say our biggest weakness would be now is probably the secondary. You have Marcus May, but then what else?
Yeah.
You don't really have. Now, granted, they had a couple nice draft picks, but I don't. You can't tell what a draft pick is gonna do. You hope for the best. You hope they're gonna be great, but as of right now, that's the biggest weakness is the secondary, because they have a. I think they have a really solid pass rush. You add Carl Lawson to that pass rush, I think it's gonna be even better this year. Your head coach is a defensive guy, so he's gonna make sure those guys eat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go secondary for the weakness. Right now.
Some weakness. Okay. Okay. I like that. I think that's being honest. Moving
I
on.
definitely agree with the Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Good
That
riddance.
was. Yeah.
Why they picked him up for Miami? Who knows?
I
But-
don't.
Yeah. Team strength. Who do you feel stands out above the rest for the Jets?
So the strength, I'm gonna say, and it's funny because you could have said this was a weakness right when the season ended, but I feel like they drafted really well. They're surrounded Zach Wilson with pieces. I'm gonna go their receiving core.
Okay.
It's very young and it's up and coming.
Mhm.
You have Elijah Moore, who was one of the top rated players in the draft out of wide receivers, and they got him in the second round. So that's a great piece to have. Denzel Mims, he had a lot of family issues last year, which a lot of players did with COVID going on. So he missed a lot of games because of that. But he has the talent. We've seen what he did in college. And then Jameson Crowder, obviously, the slot
Yeah.
machine. Like you put him in the slot and he kills it.
Mhm.
And you can tell he wants to be in New York because he slimmed down his contract. He gave them more money, which they used to sign an offensive tackle, which I was really happy that they signed from Washington. So I'm gonna go wide receiver. I feel like that's the safest. I feel like everything else needs a little bit more tweaking, or we're just not sure yet. So I'm gonna go with that as being probably the most established and most exciting.
Player on the hot seat.
Now I'm going back to defense, CJ Mosley. So the Jets gave him a bag from 2019.
Yeah.
They said, "Here you go. You're gonna be the star of the defense. Go kill it for me." He played 2 games. And then after that, he's like, Adam Gase is here, so I'm going to sit out the whole season. He didn't play last year at all. So not only he's 28, going to be 29. So you probably had the highest, robbery probably for the Jets in a while.
Yeah.
And all you have to say for it is 2 games, 1 interception, and 4 tackles.
Sheesh.
So that's a guy on the hot seat right now for me on the Jets.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think you guys could have had Anthony Barr too at one point.
Yeah. We had him, and then he said no.
Yeah, he decided to go back to Minnesota with Mr. You Like That. Give me a player you're most excited for going into the season.
Zach Wilson, baby. I'm all in on Zach Wilson. I feel like
Same.
he was the second best quarterback to draft at that point,
Yeah.
which was there because Trey Lance. I love Trey Lance,
Mhm.
but I don't think he's quite ready.
Yeah.
Which is why I think San Francisco was the best spot for him. They have Jimmy G, let him play the season,
Mhm.
and then you throw Trey Lance in. The Jets
Yeah.
need a guy that they can throw in now, learn as it happens, and you just hope that you supply him with solid coaching and weapons, which I feel like they're putting all that into place. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for some Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like you can compare Zach Wilson to a new breath of fresh air. Not that
Yeah.
I honestly feel like Sam Darnold will prove that he's pretty good or at least good, serviceable with the Panthers. I just think he needed a new change of scenery. But for Jets fans and Jake, obviously you can allude to this. It's just a nice change. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh man, what is Zach Wilson? It's okay, Zach Wilson. I mean, we've seen the pro day.
They finally got a guy that everyone was hyped to have. Everybody was like, "Oh, this
that
is a
didn't
guy
get
that just
booed.
needs
Yeah,
change." Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
Like
For
when they
me being
drafted
an-
Mark Sanchez, nobody was super happy. Everyone was
Oh
like,
man, Mr.
Hot
Button.
dog
"Okay,
eater.
cool."
Hot dog eater on the sideline, butt fumble man.
So
And to end us off, Jake of the Jets, give us a team record. Now, if you say they win a division, I'll end this thing right here, bro.
No, not division. Because I
He
do
says
think they're
17
gonna.
and 0.
I think they lose to Buffalo both times. That's
Okay.
the one team, and I think they split with Miami and New England.
Okay.
I think the only ones they win are probably the home games, and they're gonna lose away. I think that's gonna put a lot of effect on Zach Wilson, the away
Okay.
game. It's just different. This is the
Mhm.
season. Fans are back. Fans are ruthless. If you're not ready for it, you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
It can really throw you a curveball. So I think they split those division games. And I don't think they win against Buffalo. I don't think any of them are blowouts. Maybe
Yeah.
Buffalo is, but I think the splits are going to be pretty even. And then I have them going actually 10-7.
10-7. I mean, that would be a huge.
The only
huge win
reason
for-
why I say 10-7, because I feel like the first 3 games they win, and it's because one of them is New England and it's at home. That's one of the splits.
Yeah.
And they start off with the Panthers. I think they win that game. New England and then Denver. I think those are all 3 winnable games.
Yeah.
Denver only because of the quarterback situation. You don't know what's going on there.
Mhm.
And if it's Teddy B, if it's Drew Lock, either one, I'll take my chances. I like
Yeah.
the Jets against that. But then they play Tennessee. That's gonna be
Oof.
a wake-up call. Like, all right, the Jets
Henry's
are not
going for
it.
like 300.
Relax. Yeah, don't get so excited about the Jets.
Yeah.
Then
I
they
got
play
you.
Atlanta, which I think they win.
Yeah.
But
I
then
do
it's
think
pretty-
the overall makeup of this division is going to be very good. Definitely very competitive.
Yeah.
Again, as we mentioned, the AFC in general, I feel is, as of right now, I feel is the best conference. It used to be forever. It was always the NFC, but man, this year it's really no cakewalk to get into
Yeah.
the playoffs like it's been in the past. You're especially with 7 teams now, you're going to have 3-4 teams just fighting for that 7th seed alone, which is just great. I mean, that makes for great football. So
And the AFC East could possibly become one of the harder divisions. They all
Going
have
forward,
their
yeah.
young quarterbacks and
I
set.
agree.
That's
That
that's
can
the
grow
point that I was
together.
gonna make too.
Yeah.
They
So-
definitely have found their franchise quarterback, obviously with Tua, with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we mentioned a million times for no reason Josh Allen, and of course with Zach Wilson as well. And for me, obviously being here in Utah, I'm right down the street from BYU, so I had an opportunity to watch quite a few Zach Wilson BYU games, and I definitely think that was the makeover that the Jets really needed to finally
Yeah.
get over the hump with their new
culture
with the
change.
new phase. Exactly.
Yeah.
Culture change, new phase within
So-
their team. So it's a good pick.
I'm so happy because this GM is cleaning house. He's putting
Yeah.
a new face to everything. It's all his guys. Now, if it doesn't work out, he's got to go because these are all his choices, his
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
So there's no saying,
Live and die
"Oh,
by
it's-
that.
Yeah, it's no, oh, these are players from the old regime. No, you got rid of those guys.
Yeah.
These are all your guys. These are your coaches. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. You guys let us know, man. For you fellow Bills fans, Dolphins fans, Pats, Jets fans, you guys let us know, what do you think of our assessment? Obviously, if you sense the theme here, each and every week, we want to have real fans of these teams breaking down what they feel is going to happen, the weaknesses, strengths, team records, and so on and so forth. So what better way than to pick the minds of a Dolphins fan and a Jets fan? Next week, we will be breaking down the NFC East, where Jason will be joining us as a Giants fan. And it'll be the same makeup. We'll all split and have the Washington football team. We'll do them first, and we'll go on from there. So at this point, before we go to a halftime, Alexis won't be joining us for the NBA portion of the show. But Alexis, tell the fans and the people something that you're hyped for going forward.
Oh man, hyped for a few things. I know I'm not joining you for the NBA portion, but I'm hyped to see how this finals plays out. For me personally, I'm a huge Drew Holiday fan. I'd love to see the Bucks take it, but I definitely think CP3 is a man on a mission. And with
Yeah,
the
man.
addition of, Devin Book playing lights out, motivated more than ever. I'm pretty excited to see how the Bucks respond game 3
Yeah.
in their home side. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah. We thank you so much for joining us again, a regular to listening. It was only right to have you on the show. For those of you who are watching and listening, Alexis definitely helped, had a good helping hand in us creating this podcast, gave us a lot of ideas where we could display the podcast and so on and so forth. So we thank you so much. Again, we thank you for
Anytime.
your insight on the Miami Dolphins. Um,
Yes.
and again, going forward, we'll be breaking down each division. If you have a favorite team, hey, let us know. We'd love to have you on the show to get a true fan's perspective of what's to be expected going into the season. But as we mentioned, we're at a good stopping point for our halftime. We'll hear a word from our sponsor.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Not only is it free, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back. We thank Alexis so much for joining us. Again, guys, I mean, let us know. Obviously, as you can tell, football season is coming up. We're super excited.
Heck yeah,
Um,
man.
so let us know if your favorite team. You can join us, be a regular. If you're a regular, come join us. Obviously, you've seen our constant flow of regular guys, regulars who listen to the show. Just a brief thanks also to Anchor again for sponsoring this week. Like we mentioned last week, if you're looking to start a podcast, definitely start your journey with them. Just don't create a sports one. That's why you're listening to us.
Exactly. We'll listen to anything else you guys have out
Yeah,
there. Just don't do
just
sports.
not a sports one. Just come on the show with us. Come on, show with us.
Exactly.
Regular guys, you're a regular. Come on. But our continuing theme for this show is who's got next. So I went first last time. Jake, take it away, man, of who you feel has next in the NBA.
All right. So the guy that I have of who's got next is gonna be not only a superstar, but I think will be considered one of the most elite players to play the game. And that's gonna be Jason Tatum. I think this guy is going to take over the NBA. I think it's going to end up being Doncic and Tatum in the talks in about 10 years. Who is it? It's going to be those two guys. That's who I think it is. And everyone else is going to be really good, but not
Yeah,
past these guys. Jason Tatum is still growing. That's the crazy part. He came into the league at 6'6", 6'7", and he's almost 6'9" right now. And the dude, he reminds me of KD.
yeah,
That's all. It just he dribbles like a guard, but he
yeah,
has the body frame of a power forward.
yeah.
But he shoots, he dribbles, he plays defense. This dude dropped 50 in the playoffs. Like he's 22, Matt,
It's crazy.
and he dropped 50 in the playoffs. He averaged 26 points a game this year with a very hurt Celtics team behind him. Dragged them to the playoffs. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was there most of the season, but then he got hurt
Yeah,
and he missed like the last month. But I mean, Jason Tatum is on another level, and he's obviously only going to get better. So he's my guy that I picked.
you got an honorable mention?
So honorable mention. I was going to go the easy route and go Devin Booker,
Hmm.
but I was like, let's keep it up because a lot of people, when you say this name, they're like, he's okay, he's not that good. But apparently, you don't watch basketball if you don't think Zach LaVine is gonna be the next superstar.
Yeah,
This dude almost averaged 30 points for the Bulls this year. That's the crazy part. 30 points. He had 5 rebounds and 5 assists. So he was doing a little bit of everything. His free throw percentage is the highest it's ever been. It was at 85%.
Mhm.
3-point percentage was the highest at 42%. So he's obviously improving. And it's just to see what this man does. Everyone thought, oh, he's just a dunker. That's all he is. But his 3-point percentage is consistently going up every year. And I love me some Zach LaVine. Let's get this man to New York. I've always wanted him there. Ever since I saw him, how he's been improving. This is a man that started at 10 points his rookie year and is now at 30 points in 6 seasons. He's gotten that high. So that's the guy that I picked.
So before I get to my two guys, there's a reason why we started to, for our themes, we don't go over them as far as who we have picked, because we want to be able to get the reaction of each other's, to see, again, this is not planned, but the two guys you chose are also the two guys I chose. Jason Tatum was my guy. And just to kind of keep on with what you were saying, I mean, every year he's made I want to say they've made the playoffs every single year. Let me double check that real quick. Yes, every single year they've made the playoffs. My guy's gone from 13.9 points the rookie year to 26.4 right now. In the playoffs, I mean, he averaged 30 this year.
He
You
averaged
mentioned
18 his
yes.
rookie year in the playoffs. That's crazy.
It's super crazy. You mentioned KD. I agree. I gave him the mold of KD meets Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I see. The offensive game of Durant, to where obviously he's not as tall, but anything 3-point, mid-range, drive, post up, he's going to give you a bucket. But the relentless of Kobe of, I'm going to go off.
Oh yeah,
You can't stop me. Hey, that's on you, bro. But
that
I'm not gonna,
mindset.
yeah, the mindset. So, man, I love Jason Tatum. It did kind of suck to see them only be able to win just the one this year in the playoffs. But as you mentioned, the team was just hurt. They had an ongoing big man problem. And now they don't have a head coach. Brad Stevens took over the job for Danny Ainge as I want to say head of basketball operations, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So hopefully, as you know, he's been able to coach the team for a long time. He knows they need a big man. So go get
Yeah.
them some help. Jaylen Brown is, coming to his own. A guy who is probably just sought out as a wing defender. Is also showing
He's
that
getting buckets.
yeah, he can get buckets just like Jason Tatum. So the two of them going forward is a great way to make your franchise good again. But yeah, that's who I had as my number one guy. And again, this was not planned. Zach LaVine is my also guy. You always had the feeling that in Minnesota he was just in the back burner. Like
Yeah.
he was just never given the opportunity when he honestly really should have been. Like they favorite Cat more. I mean, which I get, rightfully so. And they featured. I feel like they gave Wiggins more opportunities than Zach.
Imagine if you let Zach LaVine do what he's doing now with Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
dangerous.
it's Minnesota. They don't keep
No,
talent.
I know, but they don't.
But no, I get what you
If they
mean
would
though.
have done it the right way, they gave up on Zach LaVine after 3 seasons. He was
Yeah.
that last season he dropped 19
Yep.
a game.
Yeah,
Like
it was crazy, but the change of scenery definitely did Zach some justice. His first year there, it shows 16.7 points. So I was like, oh, okay, but he averaged 19, his last year with the Timberwolves. But his second year going forward, it only went up from there. 23.7, 25.5, and this year 27.4. You mentioned he came into the league and he was kind of just, pretty much known for just being a dunker, so to speak. But he has really each and every year just elevated his game to where he's a walking bucket from the three,
Yep.
literally. And the guy just he talks his trash talk, and I love it. Um, it does kind of suck that he's in Chicago, and I understand that they tried to do their best to help save him. Um, so we'll see what happens with them going forward. I know Bulls fans everywhere are probably hoping that they can keep him, but I know big name markets like you mentioned, the Knicks, and so on and so forth, are hoping that they can get their hands on him. So
Well, yeah, he's only 25.
yeah, which is just it's scary, man,
It is.
because it's
Now
like, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. Okay, so the year that he first got to Chicago, where he was 16 and a half, he was recovering from the ACL injury because he only played 24 games that year. So coming back from an ACL injury, he dropped almost 17 points a game.
Yeah,
That tells you something too, because he got hurt in
crazy.
Minnesota
Yep.
because he started all 47 games, then got hurt. They traded him because
Mhm.
at that point you're like, oh man, the knees, he's a dunker, he's not going to do anything else. His
Yep.
value's never going to go higher. Let's just get rid of him.
And now they are eating their words in
Yeah.
that choice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You guys let us know down in the comments. What do you think? Do you agree of our picks? Again, obviously there's so many young talent in the league of who we feel has next or got next. Obviously, we could have said the obvious, Luka. But we like to kind of expand and show that we're just more than always saying the top dogs, the top guys. I like to shed light on guys who, although the names, may be a little bit overlooked. So
Yeah, like no one really talks about Zach LaVine as being one of the up and coming stars.
yeah,
Like when
I
you
agree.
list 5 players at 25 or younger, no one ever mentions Zach LaVine.
Nope.
So
So
it's like you need to get some love.
yeah, man. You guys let us know again. Do you agree? Who are you choosing? Let us know down in the comments. Moving on off topic. Obviously, we are right in the thick of things of the NBA Finals, where the Phoenix Suns look to complete maybe a sweep or a gentleman's sweep of the Milwaukee Bucks. The series right now is currently 2-0 Phoenix. So I got to do it.
Suns in 4, my guy. Suns in 4.
So basically right now we're just going to give our thoughts so far on this series from both teams. I'll start off. I'm not shocked at the 2-0 series lead. I thought that the Suns would take care of home court, as they, for the most part, have done all playoffs. I think they've only lost once, and that was to the Lakers in the first round. But other than that, they've won each the first 2 times. My initial thoughts are, the Phoenix Suns team, man, is just it's really deep. Like the depth, the starters, they play super well. The offensive efficiency is just through the roof. We got closeout Chris Paul early on. Normally, Chris Paul will drop his 30 piece, almost 40 piece to close out the series. But we saw that in game 1. In game 2, Booker said, hey, don't forget about me. And my guy was making it look super easy last night, as we record this on a Friday night. Mikal Bridges, started the game off hot.
That was key.
Yeah, it was. I felt like last night the others needed to start the spark and kind of keep it afloat to give Devin Booker, CP3, Ayton some time to kind of get their mojo going, because obviously those three, the Suns' big three, were top priority for the Bucks after the big three of the Suns scored over 80 points in game one combined. Um, Personally, man, I really don't know if Milwaukee can guard it because it's not it's just not like, oh, you know what's going to happen. Yes, you know what's going to happen, but there's just so many different variables that can happen. Yes, they want to get into the pick and roll with CP3 and Ayton, or Booker and Ayton, but there's just so many other moving pieces along this that if you choose wrong and you pick up CP3 on the pick and roll, then there's a lob to Aiden. If you choose Aiden and not get the pick and roll covered right, then CP3 is getting to his spot on the right for the mid-range shot. But then you also have the guys moving on screens outside of that to where they can get the 3-point shot to a Crowder or a Booker, or a Bridges, if you will. So it's just so much going on that it's like they're really just confusing the Bucks, I feel.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have CP3 being guarded by Lopez, that's just Lopez, Bobby Porters. That's just sorry, man. That's chicken dinner, like Shaq
How
would
you
say.
gonna put a guy like that on CP3?
Yeah,
You can't. Your defensive, like, you have one of the best probably defensive teams, and
yeah,
that's what you're throwing at Chris Paul, and old Brook Lopez.
yeah. From what I saw,
That's
I mean, don't get me wrong. Brook Lopez is nice for his role as an offensive guy, but he's definitely not keeping up with CP. And it's not like CP's super fast at this, at his age of 36. But that's what I see now. Where I have a little bit of worrisome. Obviously, they lost Dario Saric, is out for the remainder of the playoffs, towards ACL game one, extremely early in that series. And then Torrey Craig also got hurt. Now he's day to day. It's a good thing that game 3 isn't until Sunday. Gives him 2 good days of rest leading up into tip off on Sunday at 8 o'clock in Milwaukee. But guys like both Cam Payne, Cam Johnson continue to step up and be some good sparks off the bench. We may see more of Frank the Tank coming off the bench, due to the lack of big men being available. But moving into the Bucks, I don't want to go too long on the Bucks. I just feel like I feel like we see one or two things with them. It's Giannis goes off, the others don't show up. But because of not that it's a shot at the East, but in the East, I feel like that's been okay. And it's enough to still get you the win. Where if Giannis goes off, the others don't, hey, you're still in a good spot. You're probably still going to win. But against a complete team, I feel like in the Suns, that's not going to happen. That's not going to do you good. Whereas like game one, Middleton almost dropped a 30-piece. Not that Giannis was bad. I mean, most didn't expect him to play game one after the hyperextended knee. He gave you 20. Again, you'll take that because you don't know where he is on, after the injury. They need to find a medium where they have both Giannis going off and Middleton. Can we get a search for Drew Holiday?
My man threw 21 shots up last night and only made 7.
Like, it's crazy. Like, he started off on fire. I mean, he went 3 for 3, 3 for 4, I want to say. And I was like, oh, no, this is not what I want to see. And then after that, he was like, oh, hey, surprise. I got you guys. I'm going back to my old ways. So,
I mean, just to give you a comparison, if you look at the 2 biggest offensive players on the Bucks, that's Giannis and Middleton. What if, without watching the game, if I told you those 2 are playing, what are you thinking point-wise? You're probably going to say Giannis 30 to 25, 30, and then Middleton could probably get you 20, 25.
Yeah.
Middleton had 11 points.
Yeah, he's so hot and cold, man. That's what I'm saying. Like,
his plus and minus was minus 15.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I watch a lot of, First Things First and Skip and Shannon and whatnot throughout the week. And a lot of what I hear these guys talk about, I do agree. I do feel like Giannis, I'm not saying Giannis is holding the Bucks back. I do feel Giannis needs to continue to improve his offensive game from a shooting standpoint so that way there can be a system where, like, I mean, you look at the Suns, yes, CP3, Booker, Ayton, they're your top guys, but it's not like, all right, here we go, let's just feed the ball to Devin Booker,
Giannis.
everyone just choose a corner and we're just gonna let Booker dribble it out. With
Yeah.
Giannis, it's like that. You have to feed him the ball. Everyone's got to just stand out on the perimeter and wait for him to do whatever. And whereas when they closed out the Hawks, the Bucks played so freely. There was a system there. Drew Holiday was doing his thing. Chris Middleton was doing his thing. And I feel like Giannis, they need to create a system there where it's like that. And obviously, right now, it's probably too late to do that. But going into next year, they definitely need to generate that. I saw someone say that, in all honesty, they probably need to have Lopez come off the bench because of the simple fact he's just too slow. I mean, you're still going to get boards. Giannis is still going to get his. I love Aiden. He's definitely changed my mind for the 40th time this podcast
Now
on
you never say it.
on who he is and what he's done. But truth of the matter is Giannis is just more physical. And he is going to get his regardless. But Chris Middleton, man, is literally night and day. One day it's, hey, look at me. I can be a superstar. I can be an all-star. The next it's, no, I'm pretty much a bench player.
I think what needs to happen for Milwaukee is now this is probably it's probably a hot take, maybe not a hot take, but I don't think this team is bad with Giannis. Now I've said Giannis is overrated,
Yeah.
but that's because of his offensive skills.
Yeah.
He doesn't have them yet, but he's trying.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to commend. You can't say he's not working on it. He went from not shooting at all to, hey, I can make a couple of threes. Nothing crazy.
He took 5 last night. I mean,
He made one. I
he
mean,
made one.
his 3-point percentage was better than Chris Middleton. That tells you something. He's trying, and that's all you can ask from your superstar, your number one guy. Show me that you're trying to improve. I think we need to get rid of the head coach and the GM. This team building is not the right thing. You need. I love me Drew Holiday, but I don't think he's an elite point guard that's going to take you to the next level. I think he's a guy that if you have him come off the bench, that's great. He'll carry it. Hey, I'll take Drew Holiday on the Knicks. A team like that would be great. But for a team like the Bucks that are right here at the finals, they need a little extra push. I think you need a better point guard, and you definitely need some more bench depth. I love the addition of PJ Tucker. That helps him a lot defensively. But besides that, you're not really using anyone else. Bobby Portis, Jeff Teague, and that's it. Pat Connaughton. You're not getting much out of your bench, out of your depth. Giannis is playing 40 minutes on a hyperextended knee.
Oh yeah, he looked drained.
He
definitely looked drained, and that's where he needs the help. Like if guys like Middleton and Drew gave him like 15 consistently, that's okay. I can go sit for an extra minute or two and trust that you guys are going to be able to help sustain or keep us in it. But it's like if they're not doing anything, he's got to stay out there. And again, it sucks because he did just hyperextend his knee last week. Now, granted, they came on and said there was no damage, which is good. Obviously, he's playing and he, put up a 40-piece last night. So,
but he's a big guy. He was winded.
No, he was.
He was.
But I do love the fact that he said, "Look, man, this is it. This is the finals. Everyone's tired. Everyone's a little banged up. Him probably more than others. I got to do what I got to do." But I do agree with you. There needs to be, I don't know if I would say a coaching fire, I would say that they need to change something up. Again, they made it to the finals this year. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Yeah.
This is definitely a big stepping stone in the right direction for them, which is why I don't think they should look into firing. I just think they need to create a system where everyone is like moving but it doesn't start unless Giannis can shoot. And we commend him again for at least taking the shots, even though he's not going to make them. A
I
lot
mean,
of the
Ben Simmons
times,
isn't even trying.
yeah, Ben Simmons isn't even trying. So the fact that he's trying because he knows, hey, I'm gonna shoot 5 of these 3s. I hope one of them goes in, if not all of
Yeah.
them. So,
And the fact that he's telling himself, I have to at least shoot, is
yeah,
telling you, I need help
yeah.
shooting this ball. No one's
So,
helping me. I'm gonna throw him up and hopefully some go in.
yeah,
That's at the point where we're at right
I hope he does really add to his offensive bag because if you give this man a pretty good jump shot, and I'm not even got to say you got to be,
now. Just
you
get a
know,
mid range. That's it.
yeah, just get a mid range. You don't got to be 40%, 50% from 3. I mean, yeah, if you could be even 30%, that's a lot better than what you are now.
Heck yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm pretty sure the Bucks would take that. And this is like your real first injury. So it's not like you're injury prone. In my eyes, if you could add a mid range, I don't see why you're
Get
not
an
better than
Anthony
it.
Davis type shot.
Yeah, I don't see why you're not better than Anthony Davis. I really don't. I
Yeah.
mean, you're a 2-time MVP. You stay healthy. You just can't shoot. And your mid range or your free throw takes 20 seconds for crying out
I
loud.
love the
Sheesh.
counting.
Bro, I lost it. I'm watching the game last night. Mind you, this is game 2. We're recording on a Friday. And I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Are these people counting?
Yes.
And then they pan to the crowd and they're just shouting 1, 2, 3. I'm like, wow, they are petty, but I love it though.
Yes.
He airballed one of them. I'm like,
Yes,
come
I
on,
saw.
bro. How many
I was
times you gonna
watching.
keep how many times you gonna keep airballing, bro? Like this can't keep happening, man. I feel like he's good for 1 or 2 good airballs per game.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think it's a sweep. I don't.
Is that your
Phoenix
final?
is just. Yeah, Phoenix is just
Yeah.
such a great overall team. Like we talk about it and we go back and forth. I give a lot of props to CP3, but like you tell me, this team went 8-0 in the bubble. They had something coming,
Yeah,
and they added
the
the
spark.
right pieces.
Yeah, the spark I feel definitely it started in the bubble.
hmm
James Jones, um,
Executive of the
executive of the
year and
year.
very
It was his call. I mean, he saw just as like we all saw. CP3 take the Thunder to the playoffs. I mean, CP was sent there to pretty much his career to
die.
die, and he
Yeah.
said, "Nah, I'm good. I got other plans." So, um, me personally, I do feel the Bucks come out and win Sunday. I'm going to go with a gentleman sweep. Now, my initial prediction was Suns in 7. I just thought Middleton and Holiday and others would give up a more of a better fight. But, man, the Suns are just clicking right now. Even with the injuries to Sarge and Craig, they're just clicking right now. And the one thing I don't agree with what a lot of these guys on like the first things first and whatnot, Nick Wright and all those guys are saying, oh, they say, oh, well, I mean, the Bucks have been down 2-0 before, so it's the likelihood that they come back is extremely high. And I'm thinking, and the Suns have not faced guys who were down 2-0 before. You think they're about to let this? I mean, the last team they
The Suns
played,
have one loss in the playoffs.
literally, and it's like you're banking on that over a team who literally played a team in the Clippers who throughout all their playoff run started off down 0-2. Like, come on, bro. It's Milwaukee. rowdy crowd. You think they're gonna go there and, oh man, we don't know how to play.
And let's be honest,
It's too much for
Milwaukee is
us.
here because KD had no help.
Because
Let's be completely
KD wore the
honest.
wrong size shoe. That is why
Yeah,
Milwaukee is here.
yeah, literally.
Because he
Kate-
said, I like wearing 18, even though I wear 17.
That's the only reason why the Bucks are here. If he has the right shoe size, or if Harden or Kyrie are able just to give him 10 points a game,
Yeah.
they're in the finals.
Yeah.
So
But hey,
I mean that's
still-
you take advantage of
Yeah, you
what
take
what's in
advantage
front
of
of you.
it, because we could say the same for the Phoenix Suns. So many injuries out west. But hey, I mean,
Oh yeah, LeBron and AD being out, that's a big.
yep, that Murray, no Kawhi. So, but I mean, games still got to be played. They still got to have a winner. And the team that was more healthy just took advantage. So,
Yeah.
you guys let us know. Obviously, game 3 again will be on Sunday. So this podcast will be dropping Monday morning as usual. Will we see a 3-0? What'd you say?
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4. That's what Jake is saying. Hey, I mean, I hope so. I'd love that. I would love nothing more than a sweep.
CP3's trying to go on vacation. He's old. You know he's trying
Yeah,
to
man, he
close
trying
this
to go
out quick.
Cancun. He trying to go on a banana boat, with Bron and Wade and crew and whatnot, Melo. So
Now just got to get Melo a ring.
yeah, get CP3 a ring, get Melo, and all is right in the basketball universe. You guys let us know your predictions. Obviously, the series will still be going on when this podcast drops. Obviously, Jake feels it's Suns in 4. I feel it's a gentleman's sweep of Suns in 5. You guys let us know. Moving on to our hype. We reached out to you guys as we do each and every week to see what you're hyped for. We had Cray, who is a regular himself, reach out to us and let us know that he was hyped to see CP3 win Finals MVP. I do think it's between him and Booker.
I think he gets it out of respect.
I think he gets it out of respect. If you ask me, I do think it is CP3. But if Booker keeps shooting like he shot last night, I don't see how you don't give it to him. But I do think CP3 does end it.
Knew that Booker had the hot hand. Him and Bridges had the hot hand.
Yeah.
So Chris Paul did the responsible thing, understood his role in the game, and was like, let me just set everything up for them for it to be easier.
Yeah.
Why am I going to try to get mine? We're trying to win the game. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. Be a point guard, set up the easy baskets, let them score, and let's just get out of here with a W.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what you're supposed to do. He understood. That's a veteran presence. That's something they needed, and I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, and just to show how together they are. So game 1, DeAndre Ayton needed 1 rebound to hit 20. Now that rebound went to Chris Paul, and Booker knew it. I mean, you could go back. There's footage of it. Booker knew Ayton needed just 1 more to get 20. CP3 went to the scores table and was trying to convince them to give Ayton the rebound, that he touched it first. Again, this is a meaningless stat. The game's already won. It's 1 rebound. But my guy was lobbying for Ayton, who had a terrific game 1 as a big, to get that 2020. And again, that just shows you where they stand, how close they are, the team-wise, and what CP3 means to the careers of DeAndre Ayton and Booker and Bridges and crew. So
Everyone's talking CP3 leaving, but don't be shocked if he just opts out just so he can structure a contract to stay.
I think that's what it is. I mean, in all honesty, I can't necessarily be mad at him if he did. I mean, hey, I showed up. I won you a championship after so many years. Last time you were here was 93, where you lost to Jordan and company. I mean, I did my job. Some would say my career here in my 1 year is probably better than Nash, just because of the simple fact I got you the ring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't be mad at him, to be honest. I really can't.
Oh, yeah.
But
If he wants to get the bag, then get the bag.
I could also see him saying, I love what we have here. We just won the championship. I want to end my career here, but I also pay me just the first year or two or whatever the case is, but I want to keep adding on to this because
Yeah.
obviously point guard longevity going forward for the Suns is going to be into play. I mean, he's 36. If he was 32, this isn't a question. They give him the max, super max, if anything. So, Jake, what are you hyped for, man?
I'm doing it right now. I had a week off, which was very needed. But I was missing the podcast, man. We have our discussions, our chat that we talk about throughout the week, like literally all the time. We're just talking. What can we do? What is that has to happen? Hey, what are we gonna make to post? What are we gonna do? And I'm on vacation, willingly trying to figure out with Matt what is it that has to get done. What do we have to do? Even though I wasn't part of the show,
Yeah, man.
I was still actively because
Yeah,
like we say all the time, we love it, man. We started this just because we do this on the side.
yeah,
So like, let's just do a podcast together, and you guys are showing tremendous support, and we genuinely love doing it. So even though I was off, I still was wondering and still trying to be involved as much as I could. So I'm just happy to be back, be able to talk with my guy, our guest that we had, which she was incredible. So I'm just happy to be here, man.
yeah, man. Something that I'm hyped for is just football coming back again. It's NBA Finals right now, and I'm loving what the Phoenix Suns are putting up, but it's just nothing quite compares to the start of NFL season. So in all honesty, I really didn't want the NFL segment to end of breaking down the teams. I could have gone all 32 teams, to be honest with you, if we had the time to. But that's something that I'm hyped for. I mentioned last week. Tomorrow we have shoe and tell. Jake will be there. A couple
These
sneakerheads
are
talking shoes and whatnot. Um, but that's what I'm hyped for. Again, as we say each and every week, we are just hyped that you, the regulars, are here listening to us, watching us, wherever you're listening to, watching us from. Continue to grow with us, man. We're doing what we can, like you heard Jake on vacation, but still got the pot on his mind. Um, Trying to do what we can to grow each and every week, each and every month. We know it's a slow grind, something that we're committed to. And we hope that you guys see and love what we're doing. Again, we have a lot of stuff coming up. We're just breaking down the NFL, trying to get more people to come on the show and talk sports with us while still trying to make our Instagram stories and posts look legit. If you've seen the difference, let us know how you feel. Do you feel that they look good? Do you see there's maybe something that you would do differently? Let us know. We're always open to criticism. Jake, let us know closing words and end us out, man.
And one thing I do want to try going ahead and doing with you guys, the regulars, because we do have a few people, they tag us when they're watching it. Let us know if you don't want to post it, just send it to us. Send us a picture, a screenshot if you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts. We'll repost it. If you're just watching the YouTube, send us a screenshot, take a picture. Just something showing us that you're watching, you're listening. We'll repost it just to show you guys some love so that we know, hey, who's watching, all friends, family, even people we don't know. Let us know. Like if you're showing it to a friend, you're showing it to a colleague, somebody, hey, listen to this. Just show us. We'll repost it. Try to get you guys more active on our stories too. So let's try to go ahead and get that going. But like Matt says, we love it, man. We really love the feedback. It tells us how we're doing, what you guys want to hear. And last thing before I let us go, we had Mike on here a few episodes ago. He talked about the NHL Stanley Cup and his Tampa Bay Lightning won in 5 pretty easily, and they are back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
Pretty happy
he's
about
happy.
that for him.
We know fellow Lightning fans are also happy as well. Stay tuned. We might have a little something planned with Mr. Bank going forward.
Oof. Yeah, that's can't tell
Yeah,
everything.
can't give
right?
everything. You gotta stay tuned. You gotta stay
You gotta
tuned.
relax a little bit. If Mike, are you hearing this? You'll be hearing something. All right, guys. We love you guys. Comment down below what you guys feel about this episode. Peace.
Regular Guys Podcast.